Hi, I'm Christopher Dater, and this is another glimpse of God. This one's called We Heard You Clicking, and here's the story. A few days ago, I drove to Costco with my 89-year-old mother-in-law, we all call her Grandma, in her classic one-owner Oldsmobile Aurora. After shopping, get back into the car, turn the key, but instead of vroom, we hear click, click, click. That sound usually means a dead battery, and Grandma admits hers is 10 years old. No problem, we'll just buy a new one here at Costco. But the Aurora takes a special battery that sits under the rear seat, and Costco doesn't stock it. So we need a jump. But Grandma doesn't have jumper cables, Costco doesn't sell them, and even if we had cables, access to the battery is blocked by the truck parked next to us. So we're stuck. I call for a tow truck. At this point, it occurs to me, finally, that I haven't involved God in all this. I've been trying to solve it on my own. Yet Proverbs 3:5 commands me to not lean on my own understanding. So right there in the parking lot, I pray out loud, and I ask God to have the car start. I turn the key and, wait for it, click. I pray again. But this time, I make the prayer a little broader in scope. I pray, please, Lord, show us your power in this circumstance. Show us your power, Lord. Try the ignition one more time, and we hear click, click, click. Now, I admit I'm a little deflated. But then, not 10 seconds later, a nice young man walks up and says, need a jump? I answer, boy, do we ever! But this big white Expedition is parked right next to us, blocking access to our battery. He says, that's my Expedition. Alrighty then. But he doesn't have jumper cables either. So we start approaching other shoppers in the parking lot to borrow a set, but nobody can help us. Now, after letting us struggle a few more minutes, God steps in and sends us the woman who's parked on the other side of the Aurora. She has jumper cables. What are the chances? The Good Samaritan backs up his Expedition. We hook up to his battery, and on the first crank, we hear vroom. As we're unhooking, I'm thanking God and thanking the Good Samaritan and telling him the God part of all this. Not 10 seconds after I prayed that God would show us his power, you walk up to rescue us. How'd you even know we needed help? And he says, my wife and I heard you clicking. Then he drops this bomb. The crazy thing is, he says, this morning I prayed that God would use me today to help someone else. Man, I got chills standing right there in the hot sun in the Costco parking lot. As I'm putting the cables back into the other woman's trunk, I tell her what I prayed and what the Good Samaritan had prayed, and she says, yeah, isn't that always how God works in our lives? I was knocked out. I thought we were at Costco to go shopping. But God had a higher goal. To get 4 Christians talking about him and seeing God's power to put obstacles in our way, to stop us in our tracks, and to rescue us. What was needed was for me to accept that I couldn't solve the problem myself, that I needed God's intervention, and then to pray for it. It also required somebody to bring up the Lord's name first, to get the God conversation started. So now, instead of just a story of nice people save stranded motorists at Costco, it becomes another example of how God reveals himself in circumstances we don't like. Isn't that a little glimpse of a big God? Thanks for watching.